We're Arctic Monkeys. This is Don't Believe the Hype.
That rock and roll, eh? Ladies! That sound means it's the end of the round. Time for the bonus question. Cheers, dude.
That man just yawned.
We're gonna call it,
Don't Believe the Hype.
Hello, welcome to Don't Believe the Hype, and welcome to the third episode of the fourth series, the fun series, as we made clear last week. Although that begs the question of what the fuck we've been doing for the past three series. Yes, every week we are going through the discography of Arctic Monkeys, track by track, chronologically, in which is the only manner you can really do these things, and we are getting well stuck into Suck It and See. Now, I had to like practice that bit 'cause it's a real tongue twister. With me, Nick, and he wants to rock and roll. It's really tricky finding a lyric for you for your intro this week.
From this one, yeah.
Quite honest with you. He wants to rock and roll. It's Dan. Hello, Dan.
Rock and roll. Yes, hello. How are you? I'm conscious now that I don't answer and say I'm good that you never ask. So after you said it on the first episode, when you revealed how rude you are. But how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, it's not. Yeah, you don't really want to know, so I'm not really going to. But we.
I mean, do I want to know?
As you well know, I'm feeling a bit queasy from having to, in our pre-show, review the Daft Punk album, Homework from the 90s, because a lot of it reminded me of being absolutely fucked up in sort of clubs and dance music and going a bit under at like 5 a.m. in my youth. So yeah, I'm feeling a bit queasy from that, but I'm being brought back from the queasiness by potentially controversial for some that I love tonight's song, Bric by Bric, third song on Suck It and See. I mean, I'm obviously a Suck It and See mega fan, but I mean, and obviously this is on the side. I'm not going to pretend that it's like my favorite. It's like better than some of the other ones on there. Obviously, the melodic stuff wins, but I have no issues with this song whatsoever. I had no issues when it came out. I have no issues with it, and I love a great troll, so yeah. I got no problems with it at all. I think it's just a fun tune. Yeah, and it's one of those songs that, like, you know, it's like I always say about in the moment bands' discographies get really scrutinized, but then when you get like years on, like there's a lot of like you go back and listen to like Kinks album tracks and Beatles album tracks, and you're like, well, that one was just a bit of a laugh on it, or whatever. Like, it's just, it's not that important.
You just picked the best two examples there as well.
yeah. So I just, no issues from me with it. I love it. It's a fun tune, and it makes me laugh. And it's always good to hear Helder's in the driving seat of the singing as well, isn't it? We have so few. I mean, this is the only album track where he sings. Some would say this would have been a very good B-side. It shouldn't be on the album, I think, is what some people would say.
Yeah, I think that's fair, but
I think it fits. I do think it's made it on the album rather than a B-side, because I would say there is probably one B-side on this that could replace it on the album, which is so I'll give it that. But I think it's the nature of how they recorded this album, in that they went in, like we heard on the John Kennedy on the first episode, they didn't fuck about. They rehearsed it in London, and then they recorded it in like 3 or 4 weeks, and then they immediately mixed it for 2 weeks after they finished recording it, and then they had it out like a couple of months later. It was out bit by bit, dropped during the mixing, like they put that out. So I think the nature of the way it went out meant that they weren't trying to like go. I think maybe if they'd, like with Humbug, they would like really looking at it and how can we do this and that, they might not have made the cut, but I think it's just the nature of it being a fun. I also think this is a song that very much is the band had so much fun with, or particularly I would think Alex and Matt had so much fun with it that it was made it on the album out of their love for it being a stupid silly song that's fun to play. And I think that's okay. I have no problems with having a song that's fun to play and being out there. And as we'll see in the information, it's made its way into the set a lot more times than the two first songs that we talked about in this era. So it's clearly just a song that they love performing, which is fine. So what?
You're allowed to have fun.
Yeah, I do think it's an interesting one live. I think it's a good I think it's a little bit weak live. The music isn't, but I think because Helders is singing, it's not as strong live. Perhaps maybe his voice doesn't carry as much. I always think, but I think it's a fun song to hear live from a musical point of view.
Definitely.
And it's an interesting song to discuss. I'm looking forward to discussing it because there's some points I'd like to raise about it. But should we have a listen to it?
Yes, let's do that.
Brick by brick.
Yeah. Where was that from?
Ross Kilder.
Excellent choice of clip. Excellent choice of clip because I actually get a strike from the record. What I said before that about it not sounding as good live, because it sounded fantastic there live. So yeah, it sounded really good. And yeah, I mean, how can you not like it? It's just a fun rock song. Like there's nothing like it's almost like they're being judged by their own impossible standards, and people go, "Oh, this one's a bit of a lightweight or whatever." But I think well, actually, I have a theory on what's happened with this song, and I will talk about that later in the show. But I just think it's fun. Like, and that's one of the keep saying, you mentioned it at the intro of the show, but this album was them just having fun, but also with some phenomenal songs in there. So it's not like they were just having a laugh and every track's brick by brick. It was like an amazing album, but also they were just having a laugh. They'd let go of the seriousness, and that's why I think AM worked so well, because they were still in that kind of mode of letting go of the seriousness. And yeah, I just think it's I think there's no problems with this song. I love it.
I'll tell you what though, when I'm picking which clip to use, obviously I've got this self-imposed rule where I pick it from the era rather than, so for example with Dance Floor, I couldn't go using the Glastonbury 2013 version or whatever. But I was so tempted to use, this is the most tempted I've been to use one from Not in the Era. I wanted to use Glastonbury 2013.
Yeah, they did do it, didn't they?
Because the swagger in that is phenomenal. it's just so cool. Like
maybe I'll put it at the end as the way out.
In a fantastic set. Yes.
Maybe I'll edit it in at the end as the end of the episode. I'll put it in there if you want. Make a note of that. Add Glasto 13 brick by brick. 213 Coffee House. So I always get that in my head whenever I'm writing a note in a pad.
Can we not discuss Matthew Perry, please? Because I'm currently playing Fallout New Vegas, and I've just got to the bit where I've got to kill his character, and it's hitting differently this time.
Almost be a year actually, right? Because it was when the night the clocks went forward. I remember.
Yes, about 2 or 3 weeks away then, and there's been prosecution.
The clocks go back. Sorry, it's the good one, isn't it? This in the
Spring
winter.
forward, fall back.
Yeah,
if you're
my
American.
favorite. Yeah, I'm going to try and I never get to do it. I've got this dream of having a I've never been able to do it at night where I'm drinking when the clocks go back, so you get an extra hour. It always happens because I always end up going out on the Friday for Halloween or something, and it doesn't happen. I think it might have happened one year on Halloween when it was when I was in 42s for a 12-hour. It was 6 till 6. I got there about 7. I was in there until 6 in the morning, which is ridiculously outrageous. Now when I think about that, I think, Jesus Christ, how did I have the energy? And there was no drugs or anything. It was just all on booze. So it wouldn't happen now, I can tell you that.
Situation. Yeah, I've had that exact situation when I was working in a bar. And when it came to, wait, you're open for another hour, aren't you? It's like, when you want to go home.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I suppose we are open for an extra hour, technically, yeah. But then 6 months later, I got my revenge, didn't I? I was like, just waiting for him to come up to the bar, and then the minute the clock's changed, like,
sorry, clock's going back.
Off you go. Home time, dickheads.
Yeah. But yeah, no, really good clip. And, I think a lot of people don't like this because we have to talk about the fact that it's not a love song. But I can understand people not loving it, but there's a hatred that's bizarre. When I was gathering information for this, some Reddit posts always come up, and I always just have a little peruse to see what people think of the song and stuff. Mostly usually quite positive, obviously. But this one, there's someone put a post, and there's a couple of people that was like, they despise it so much, they blocked it on Spotify so that it can't come up in circulation. I thought, that's dramatic, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a bit, it's not that bad that you have to block it on Spotify just in the off chance it might come on while you're listening to the band.
Is this just us being normal? I mean, do you remember the first Baby Shambles album? There's a song where his cellmate from Pentonville Prison does a rap for like 4 minutes, and it's terrible.
Yeah.
I didn't even set that to skip on Spotify. I just let it play through.
I didn't know you. I'll be honest. Terrible. I didn't know you could block songs on Spotify. Like,
well, that's something as well. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know you could. I've never found a song so inoffensive that I've felt the need to block it. I'll just skip it if it starts playing. Like, there's no big deal, is it? It's not going to ruin my day if it just plays the opening bars. I mean, that is hatred on another level. But I think what will happen is people listen to this. There'll be 3 types of people. There'll be the people that go, yeah, we're with you. We like it. We don't understand what the big deal is. There'll be people that go, I don't really like it, but meh, it's all right. And then there'll be people that'll be like, oh, you two are just saying that because you always have to say good things about it, which isn't true, because there's been many an occasion. See Old Yellow Bricks, see
Old Yellow Bricks, which we went into expecting to love it.
To love it, and came out of personal opinion. And yeah, second being Fire in the Flood we didn't like. Obviously, we really didn't like. There's a song that Bad Thing. So we're not adverse to. I just genuinely like it. So the people that sat there going, oh, you just like when we liked the Glastonbury performance last year, and we got a load of abuse about, oh, you two just always have to be good positive about them, and it's like, well, it's not the case. If you listen to the show, you'll see that we're not always positive. Yeah,
possibly in
like
it.
We're poster boys for the band. We're not the official podcast. We're not being paid by Domino to talk about it, or you always have to. People always throw that at big fans, but you just always have to. You can't say anything bad about them, negative or whatever. It's like, no, that's not the case at all. The songs I don't like. There's just not many songs I don't like. Same thing I get for Tranquility. Oh, you just like it because you can't say that they did a bad album. It's like, no, it's not the case. I like it. When I first listened to it, I didn't like it. I was a bit jarred by it, like Star Treatment. But then I grew to love it, which is
wait till we get to the car
fine.
As well. There'll be stuff on the car that we not necessarily don't like, but that we're not moved by. We've discussed that quite a lot.
When
already.
People viscerally hate something, you can't win with them. Like same in anything, music, films, politics. You're never gonna win with your opinion if you like something that they don't, so you may as well just leave it. But I reckon there's not many people like that listen to this. I think there'll be more people that are like sort of like meh about it. But I'm not, I'm not saying I adore the song, but I like playing it. I like it when it comes on. I don't skip it. I enjoy it. So yeah, but it's not like, I know Brick by Brick is the most phenomenal song I've ever heard, and it's amazing.
It's not going down that. It's just cool. It's fun. I know a guy who is obsessed with the Smiths and particularly Morrissey, and he saves all his holidays from work to go and follow Morrissey touring around Europe for like 3 weeks.
Jesus.
But he's still convinced that everything Morrissey does is just as good as everything he's ever done.
Yeah.
And he also beat his girlfriend up, this guy. So
well, that says it all, Nick, doesn't it?
She was the 3rd woman he's done it to. And he basically can't go.
Why are you friends with him?
People are after him. I know him. I know him. I'm not friends with him.
You just was
Oh,
that the
God.
ghost of the
Maybe
girly
he's
bit
dead.
going
Maybe
on
he's dead
there?
and he's a
Jesus, that
ghost.
was terrifying. Nick's light in his bedroom just went off, and as he said
I
that,
just
like a
I just
horror
stepped on the
film.
thing for my lamp.
Jesus, Scooby Doo. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm not friends with him. No, I know him. That was the thing.
oh, okay, sorry, yeah. But yeah, I think some people really hate the idea of a band doing a song that they find fun. That's what I think it is. I think some people
Yeah.
really don't like it when musicians do a song that they go, "Oh, we're just having a laugh." You
It
know,
exists to please me.
yeah, it's just a bit of fun. We weren't taking ourselves too seriously. Some people are like, no, you have to put 100% artistic integrity into every single song, and you can't be having a laugh. You're supposed to be making music. It's weird to think like that. Like, and you mentioned a song in the pre-show that you're going to bring up, which I think gets the same sort of thing. But shall we have some information on Bric by Bric? Bric by Bric.
Oh, bye. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's information. You can give us the blow by blow.
Information action ratio. Ain't that the place to go?
Didn't make a crude sexual reference. We're maturing. But although by me bringing it up, I suppose I've kind of made that reference. So yeah, it's kind of redundant, really.
Nullified
Yeah.
that. Well done.
Oh well. No one's expecting us to mature. Bric
I hope
by
not.
Bric is 3 minutes and 2 seconds. Oh, sorry. I put 3 minutes and 2 minutes and 59 seconds long here, which is. I really forgot to delete some.
Nearly 6 minutes.
I think it's the 2 minute. I think it's 2 minutes 59, isn't it? Let me just double check. Yes, it is 2 minutes and 59 seconds long, with 39.9 million streams on Spotify, which is not like it's not the least listened to on this. So obviously, people do. More people do like it. The song is 132 beats per minute, and is in the key of D major. So sticking in the majors again. This one. The song has been played live 179 times, which is the most so far on this album. Firstly, on May 5th, 2011, at Circus Stockholm, and lastly, on February 15th, 2014, at the Pageant St. Louis, Missouri. So quite a lot. They crammed this one out in those 2-year periods, but it hasn't 3-year period. They haven't brought it out since the AM tour, though, have they?
Yes.
It didn't make it. I'm surprised it didn't make a return in the last years when they were cracking out old songs, but maybe they thought we'll just stick to the classic ones for that.
Or if the how much they enjoyed the extended outros to Body Pain, and how much fun we have with that is an indicator, as I think it is, that we might get a rock album. Then Bric by Bric would be a very good contender to come back.
Yeah, you could do a Bit by Bric as well. You could slip it in to another song. Like they do sometimes. So you could just do a bit of Bric by Bric in the middle of another song. Like they've done that before, haven't they? A couple of times where they sort of play a bit of another song. So perhaps, yeah, it would be good on it. I think. Well, it's interesting if they do a rock album, which who knows, then it'll be interesting to see what does come back in that if they're going to do a rock set.
Or we might
Could we get reappearances from? Yeah. Well, if they did like a Love Out, like a sort of, I theorized yesterday because I got the Dion album on vinyl, and I was listening to it because obviously that's one of Alex's favorite albums as well, which is one that we'll probably do on our pre-show at some point. Because, in fact, yeah, we should do that because it is Arctic Monkeys adjacent. Alex's favorite song ever is on it. But I was saying to you, we never consider the fact that they'll do like a sort of sultry love album, like Suck It and See Meets the Car, which is basically like Mirrorball, I suppose, like an album of Mirrorball type stuff with sort of 80s, like 70s guitar, like love song guitar. It could be interesting. Yeah, I'd love them to do that. Do that on a rock album next, please. But going back to Bric by Bric, which I would be happy. I would be happy to see it back in the set. The song was the first track to be revealed from the album on the 4th of March 2011 and was designed as a teaser for the album rather than a lead single. A limited edition white label 7-inch vinyl version of Don't Sit Down 'Cause I'd Move Your Chair, released on the 16th of April, featured Bric by Bric as its B-side. Alex explained the story to NME. We were in Miami on tour once and we just got off a long flight and we had an idea for a song called Bric by Bric. And so we wrote it that night, just saw it in a bar. But it was quite loose. We thought about it as the concept of a song and all these things that you want to do, brick by brick. And we just made a list of them that was probably 3 times as long as what we ended up over that night and the next few weeks. The song is intentionally brief and humorous, with Turner claiming that it was meant to include fewer than 30 words, since we always do songs with 1,000 words, an approach borrowed from Iggy Pop. Even though it is dumbed down, we know it, and it's got a sense of humour. There have always been jokes all over our songs. I originally started writing lyrics to make my friends crack a smile, which is difficult. Brick by Brick was the first track done for the album, with a demo being recorded by Alex and Matt after touring ended in 2010. The song's vocals were compared to the work of Nick Cave in bands like Bad Seeds and Grinder Man. So it's interesting because that's why I kind of say about it kind of seeming like it's very much driven by Matt and Alex, this song, and their enjoyment of making it, because it seems like they just got together and did just a guitar and drums and singing sort of, and obviously Matt sings the lead vocals on it, so it's obviously a bit of a passion piece. So
interestingly, with the Iggy Pop mention about trying to use as few words as possible, Iggy Pop actually had an album called Brick by Brick.
Well, there you go. That must be why they must have listened to the song and said, "Wonder if we could do a song called that." Maybe on the flight they listened to it and said that. Very interesting indeed. But shall we talk about the gear for the album? For the song, sorry.
Technological advances really blooming get me in the mood.
There is no gear for this, I'm afraid. Essentially, I couldn't find anything anywhere about it. But if I was to give it a guess, I reckon they use a fuzz at some point on this as a pedal, so I would say that, and I reckon it's just a light overdrive as well. But I couldn't find anything anywhere. It was one of the few time, or the only time, where there's just, apart from the B-sides, where there's been nothing out there about it. Perhaps that says about the people's love for the song. I don't know. But I
think the best thing for people to do is, once we get to the end of, well, not necessarily the series, but the album. Well, yes, the series actually. Just keep down a note of all the gear that's been mentioned, and it'll be something from there. It's going to be a lot of. I think a lot of the same stuff's going to be popping up here.
I was going to say, particularly for Don't Sit Down in a couple of weeks and library pictures, you're probably in a similar world with the pedals for this one. So, and I imagine we will get some information on those ones. So, do you want some of the reviews?
Yes, I do.
Beatsperminute.com said the track is bereft of turn. I can't say the word bereft without thinking of Rick Mail in Bottom when Eddie makes a terrible joke and he's like, "Yes, Eddie, I'm bereft of ribs." The track is bereft of Turner's typical labyrinthine storytelling. Instead, we get simplistic couplets, each punctuated with a rumbling brick by brick. For a band that we've come to expect a certain level of lyrical panache from, this comes as a bit of a disappointment. Stylistically, the song is impressive. Is an impressive transformation from Humbug. The production is still slick, but the guitars aren't as dense, and the drumming is less obtuse. Stoner rock is replaced by something a little cleaner and a little more accessible. Musically, the song delivers the goods, with tempo changes, tight instrumentation, and a plucky guitar solo. Reactions to the song will surely be mixed, not that the band has ever cared. If you don't like it, please refer yourself to the first half of the album's title. So there you go. An NME said... I know, yeah. NME said, obviously the Monkees aren't going to release their A-Game comeback single in this manner, so it's probably only fair to judge Brick by Brick as something of a teaser or album track from the band's fourth studio effort. That said, personally, I think it is very encouraging. With its stomping bass, slashing guitar riff, glam harmonies, not to mention the golden lit suburban front room and vintage record player in the video, there's a real 70s feel to the track. And while it's the poppiest thing the band have done in a while, the beefed up rock and roll fuzz that was discovered on the unfairly maligned Humbug has not been surrendered, suggesting that the band have managed to combine both sides of their personality via a bit of Bowie and Bolan for the forthcoming record, or not. If there was ever a band who would put out a song on the eve of a major release that was entirely unrelated to the following album, it would be this one. They have the deliciously wicked sense of humour for it, which is exactly what they did. Everyone was expecting the album to be like this. Nothing wrong with having a laugh. And similarly with NME's greatest list, they put Brick by Brick at number 67. saying it marked the exact moment that the band stopped taking themselves so bloody seriously. A galloping, deliciously funny racket made up of just 27 words. The lead single from Suck It and See is a grade A troll. Not a lead single, but we'll let you off. But yeah, that's true. All that is true. They're having a laugh. 167. I think some people would have it a lot lower on the list, but I think it's probably fair. It'll be interesting to see where I put it when I'm doing everything, because there are songs that will probably beat it, like even in B-sides. So it'll be interesting. I think it might be slightly lower when we come to do our whole list, but
especially given that the lyricism is a big attraction for both of us, so it's obviously going to lose out to a lot of stuff based on that.
I mean, to be honest, as much as we're saying we like it and it's fun, it's probably going to be in a really harsh place come the end of our wrap up where we have to rank this album because because it's just a phenomenal album. So there's a lot of songs that I absolutely adore that will be going way above it. So it might, it could end up in the very sour spot. But this album doesn't have a song that is a clear bottom because I don't like it, like the other ones had. But maybe this is a clear bottom song just because of how much I like the others. But it depends really. There might be another.
Yeah, might be just by process of elimination, really.
Yeah, unfortunately, but that's just a good sign of a great album.
Hey Dan, do you like listening to popular songs with questionable lyrics?
You know I bloody do. And Nick, do you like drinking copious amounts of alcohol?
Nah, do I ever? Actually a worry.
Well, if you're the same as us, then come listen to a weekly podcast, Liquor and Lyrics, where we take apart popular music's worst songwriting whilst drinking our favourite drinks, which kind of stay in theme with the song.
From Gin and Tonic to Grease Lightning.
Cosmopolitans with Chaz and Dave.
Blue Lagoons with Busted.
Sex on the Beach with Sex on Fire.
Shirley Temples with Shaggy.
And even a shandy with Sharon.
Dropping on Tuesday the 19th of September and every Tuesday after on your favourite podcast platform.
So yeah, we just watched the video for Bric there. If you want to get on that action, then subscribe, please. Also, just so people know, because I don't know if we plugged it last week, we have now made our Patreon. If you feel like you don't want to subscribe and pay a monthly payment for all the stuff that we get, but say you have a particular favorite Arctic Monkeys song that you really like the episode to or something, or
let's say Birdkick, for example.
Let's say, which by the way always comes up on Who Sampled as being as sampling tracks 2 to 27 by Norman Cook, and I have no idea what that's referring to. But so or let's say you like the Shadow Puppets, but you don't like them enough to want to hear a monthly episode on the songs. But let's say you do have a special love for, say, Calm Like You, like Nick, then what you can do is you can bob on there, and we've made everything available for a one-off purchase of £3, which is the lowest it would allow us to go. So we've gone low. I would have gone to 2, but it wouldn't allow me. So £3, and you can have that episode to listen to and keep. So, if you want to just dip your toe in and listen to the odd one, then you can purchase it.
Dip in our daydream.
And I made all the video episodes of the show available as well for £3. So if you want to see our faces while we do one of the shows, yeah, I know, unlikely. But
I feel like we should pay them £3 for that. Just go around to the houses, you can change.
And also, I would recommend, if anyone does want to buy anything, the one apart from the Shadow Puppets ones, I would recommend our Submarine watch along, our Submarine album coverage. And if I would also recommend the Matt Helder's birthday episode has a lot of cool music on it that he's been involved with that we played all of. So, which you can't get that on Spotify anymore because they blocked it because of all the different musics that we put in it. But you can get it on Patreon for £3 if you don't want to subscribe. So I'd recommend that if you want to have a little Friday night drink and listen to some Helder's music that he's been involved with, then get on that. I thought that was one of our great, or Saturday night drink. It was one of our, or a Monday night drink, if you know, a Wednesday night drink. Yeah, I don't know. But I felt that was a great episode that we did. So yeah, get on it. But the music of Bric by Bric, I do love it. I do. I think it's proper stoner rock. Yeah. The opening guitars are just banging. They sound great. I don't understand how anyone can have a problem with the music.
Glam. It's everything I love.
Is anyone's issue with this song the music? I don't think anyone has an issue with the music. No. I think all the issues come from the lyrics. That's the main really song. Because the drums and the bass are groovy as well, cool. Ferocious in the intro, actually, the drums and the bass. really good. It's mixed really well by Mr. Craig Sylvie, I should say. He mixed it, didn't he? So
yes,
our friend
Sylvie
from recently produced the Shadow Puppets B-sides we've been doing, and
Sylvie
last night gave us cause to bring back Homi or Joshi in a new version of Sylvie or Homi or Joshi, Homi or Ford. We brought it back with Sylvie or Ford, which was
that's fun, wasn't it?
bring back, yeah. So
the answer to,
if you missed if you missed that and you want to hear another round of that, then subscribe or buy last night's sequels and live covers episode that went out today on 4th of October. I don't know why I said 4th of October. I'm holding today's newspaper up just to, but yeah, it's mixed really well. Everything sounds loud and crisp. I think it's a great riff. I think he's done a fabulous producing job on this one as well. Yeah, the intro is fantastic. I really like it. I kind of pause and into again what I think is a really cool stoner beach style 70s riff. Just really that nothing. Guitars are catchy, it's trippy. Yeah, Jamie and a new the stoner rock Jamie Cook special. Do you think it was Jamie? Was Jamie doing that? Yeah, he was on the clip we watched, wasn't he? Yeah, some stoner rock. The Jamie Cook stoner rock special for this episode.
Great.
Yeah, really good, really enjoyable to listen to. The drums in this bit are really driving the song as well. And I do love the guitar at the end as well. The like what's not to like, and then cracking into the solo. Like it's just a great fun listen. I don't understand, especially I was into instrumental and I was like, this is just a great fun song. No issues. Enjoyable, lovely.
No issue. I don't understand how. I can see like it's fair enough, like not liking it as much as other stuff, because and probably having it as one of your least favorites. That's fine. But to actively hate it blows my mind.
Yeah, because you got that, and you got the doo which is just a nice bit, and then you've got the opening riff again, but with the stoner rock solo, which is a really good solo. I think it's just absolutely scrumptious. So I would describe it. That
solo is possibly the sexiest they've sounded up to this point.
I think it is I was going to say pre-AM sexy solo. I would agree. I think it's the sexiest solo they've done so far. Because there's not really many sort of sexy solos, is there, where you're strutting around the stage while you're doing it. But obviously AM is chock-a-block with sexy solos. So probably Arabella being one of the best. But yeah, this is the most sexy.
I'd say one of the sexiest solos is on Tranquility as well, which we'll get to eventually. There's a very sexy solo on Tranquility.
Yes, there is. Yeah. Yes, that is a very sexy solo. Yeah. But yeah, proper again. Just keep saying it, but proper catchy stoner rock. And then we get just the bass and drums, which is just a really good solid rock sound. The bass is meaty, the drums are banging. It's just cool. Yeah, and that's another good pre-AM. Cool moment, the drums and the bass, because they're very AM drums and bass. I think so. Preemptive AM, yeah. Again, maybe you couldn't have had AM without Bric by Bric in particular, perhaps. But I think this verse and drums is the biggest sneak peek, and the solo that you mentioned, biggest sneak peek in what is to come with AM on this album. Actually, I can't think of I know you got library pictures and Don't Sit Down, but I don't think they really fall into the sexy.
No, definitely.
I don't know if they fall into sexy AM times much. So potentially the most pre AM sound they've got, but yeah, classic random guitar sounds in the background too with this bit, little squirts of guitar when they're doing the bass and drums. And then we get the same chorus, which leads you into what I think is the pièce de résistance of the song. Really slowed down stoner rock part. This is where you've just had a massive spliff, and it goes into I think this is just an incredible bit. I think the sound of this is the sound of this, the sound of some of like electricity, stuff like that. This is what I thought they were going to sound like when Josh Homme did Humbug. This is what I assumed it was going to be like. So this kind of makes sense that they didn't do that, but they experimented with stuff. But now this is the next evolution. And this bit, it's just incredible. I think the slow down and the trippy, high sort of guitar
Such a cool
song.
solo.
Yeah, proper beach 70s stoners rock. Yeah, at its finest. And to bring it up, it always reminded me a bit of this song that I sent you a clip for, which I think kind of falls into this world. If you want to have a listen, it's by a band called the Brian Jonestown Massacre, and it was the theme song.
I've seen live like 6 times.
Really?
6 times I've seen them.
Yeah, really good band.
I must admit, I don't watch any of the clips that you send me, but I could tell from the thumbnail.
I figured you would.
Straight away, very recognisable logo.
It's the song that I forgot the Straight Up and Down, I think it's called, and it's it was the theme tune to Boardwalk Empire. People may know when they hear it, which actually like saying because the video to Artie Monkey for Bit by Bit we just watched had a beach shot that looked very much like the opening shot of Boardwalk Empire opening titles. But let's have a listen and see. I think there's a similar world here.
I think there is as well.
I think it's a similar vibe. There's a bit later in the song as well, which in the Boardwalk Empire opening titles, it fades into that bit, but it's later in the song. I didn't have time to put them together, but where it sounds a lot like it as well, where the solo kind of comes in more in a stonery way like this song. But I think, yeah, they live in the same, it's that kind of LA, California beach vibe. I think they have that kind of, that sound in this.
One of the occasions I went to see them, there was about 2 or 3 blokes in front of me who talked all the way through the gig.
Yeah.
And then went quiet for that song and then left. Which was really weird.
That is odd.
Very strange.
Probably just people that just go to gigs and go, oh, okay. I also actually think this song, this slowed down bit, is very Potion approaching.
Yeah,
and firing the FUD perhaps even as well towards the end. Like they live on in this. I think they live on in this song. That's that Humbug sound, because it's very similar to the slower Potion approaching with the spurts of guitar. In this bit, I think a bit of Josh Homme influence sprinkled on this bit. I think the lead guitar is great. Obviously, that sound. I love that sound of that solo, like that kind of effect. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Bit
string bending a lot.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I can understand why you want to do it. I love the slow stop and held us slowing down drum beat to let it hang as well. Bric by, and he kind of does a slow drum beat again, a bit like the end of Potion approaching. I know that's kind of a similar thing. Josh Homme truly does live on in the heart of this one. Not that he's dead, but in terms of the influence. And then it all comes back in. It's yet to be discovered by Taylor. Oh no, it was the way around, wasn't it?
Oh,
And then it all comes back in with the same chorus riff, which sounds great. The bass is great at the end bit as well, I should say. Proper rocky. I know we were going to be talking a lot about Nick. He isn't as important in this one, but at the end here, it's proper rocky bass. And Hell just really goes for it as well in the outro. He doesn't wig out. It's very controlled, but he goes for it.
I don't think a wig out was necessary, really.
No, he just does a controlled, like, excellent drum part. But and yeah, I love the end as well. Another great end for this album. Another great end to a song as well. Perfect, yeah. No complaints from me about the music of this one.
And once again, it would have this song. It would have been very easy to do the old fade out with, I think, but they didn't.
No. If there was ever a song that could have been ruined by a fade out, it would be Bric by Bric, wouldn't there? So yeah, excellent to not be tempted. I think we tip our hat to Mr. Ford for that as well. He's not a fade out producer, is he? He's not always trying to put the fade out and everything.
I'll put a hat on just to tip it.
I can't think of even the songs on the other albums I've heard by James Ford that have fade outs. My covers band bit's gone for some reason off my notes. I don't know why, but I got it. It just means it's just the bit that I write is gone for some reason. But I'm gonna go with the Brian Jonestown Massacre because
I'll play the jingle first, shall I?
Oh yeah, go on. Forgot about that. He's not letting me know. Ron Burgundy. If it's not there in my notes, I fall apart without it. So, yes, I'm going to say the Brian Jonestown Massacre because of how I think they're a similar song. I think they do a great vibey version of it.
Yeah, great shout. I've gone, as mentioned earlier, Iggy Pop. Not Stooges era fast punk Iggy, but yeah, solo Iggy. I think, yeah.
Yeah, I think they do a good one. I think there's quite a few bands that would probably do a good version of this. To be fair, they'd be so inclined to, but. Yes.
I think guitar-wise as well, there's quite the guitar effects and sound used on this are quite similar to The Passenger by Iggy Pop as well. I think.
Yeah, the most overused song of all time in media. Like any TV series, there's a scene in it where The Passenger gets played while someone is like traveling somewhere or something like that and contemplating something serious. I hate it. Maybe making me hate the song actually because it's too much. I go Passenger again. I think it's the copyright up on this or something. Like, is it really cheap or something?
It was on the latest. It was on the Dexter sequel, and there was also a John Lewis style version with a woman singing or breathy on the trailer for it as well. I was like, oh, just be glad that "Lust for Life" by Iggy Pop was already used perfectly by Trainspotting. Because otherwise, we'd be doing the same with that as well.
Yeah, I think it was used in something recently as well, like the Umbrella Academy, I'm sure as well. And I was like, oh, here we go. There's always shows like that as well. You can go if you can pick a show that's like. That kind of show, and you'll go. The Passenger will be in this at some point by Iggy Pop.
Let me see. So, this is ridiculous. You're gonna love this. So, The Passenger. The song has been featured in numerous movies, video games, documentaries, and TV shows, including "He Died with a Falafel in His Hand," "This Must Be the Place," "Radio Fetcher," 30 Days, Jarhead, Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX2, Up in the Air, The Weatherman, A Kurt Cobain Thing, Scarface, The World Is Yours, 24-Hour Party People, If I Stay, Sons of Anarchy, War Dogs, Ash vs Evil Dead, 12 Monkeys, Berlin Station, The Boys, Dexter New Blood, Sugar, The Lincoln Lawyer,
Boys, and The Umbrella Academy. The Boys recently. And The Umbrella, I knew it was in The Umbrella Academy.
Yeah. In addition to advertisements for Dublin Bus, Captain Morgan, Coles, Guinness, the 5th season of Anthony Bourdain's Parts Unknown.
He must be paying for his houses. I mean, he must be making a wad off that song. Shall we move on to the lyrics of this one then? Although there's not much to. What do you think this one's about? I mean, this one is essentially about nothing. It's about them wanting to do a song in less than 30 words, was it? So it's 27 or something like that.
You cannot beat a song about nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally just listing things that very similar though to Don't Sit Down, in that it's just listing things. In that, it's listing things that you that are worse than that you could do, but don't dare move my chair, you know. And this one is listing different things you want to piece together brick by brick. There's really nothing more to it than that. There's no deeper meaning.
Exactly,
There's no, it's just them having a laugh. So not much to say, but I want to build you up brick by brick. I want to break you down brick by brick. I'm going to reconstruct brick by brick. I want to feel your love. I can see them laughing doing this. I want to feel your love. I've always thought, I can see them being like, that's so cheesy rock, like I want to feel your love. I can just see Hell just giggling away about the thought of them releasing that as a song, like, which I think that's what a lot of people don't get. You're either in on the joke or you're not. And that's been the Arctic Monkeys a lot as well. Like the AM speech, the Brit speech, you're either in on the joke or you're not. You know that they're just taking the piss. And I can just see them laughing about how bad some of these lyrics are. Like, I think a lot of people thought, oh, they've lost it. Look, they think this is a serious song, a good song, a lyrical song. It's like, no, it's a complete troll, and they just enjoy it. And it's not to say they put a bad song out there. They haven't put a bad song out there. It's still a good song. It's just the lyrics are funny. Just a sort of pastiche of a bad rock song, you know, like they're always doing it's like a satirical rock song from the 70s.
Which brings us on to song 2 by Blur.
Yes, go on. I know you wanted to.
So essentially the background for, I mean, probably a little more mischievous than this, I think, but a similar vibe. So song 2 is basically intended to be them taking the piss out of the record company.
Yes.
Damon Albarn had recorded an acoustic demo of the song, which was slower but featured the song's distinctive woohoo chorus in whistle form. Coxon then suggested that they pump up the speed and perform the song loudly, with Coxon deliberately seeking out an amateurish guitar sound. From there, Coxon told Albarn to tell the record company that they wanted to release the song as a single to blow the fucking record labels' heads off. To Coxon's surprise, record executive reacted positively. When asked if the band had any idea of the commercial appeal, Coxon replied, "We just thought it was way too extreme." Some writers have stated that the song is intended to be a parody of the grunge genre, while others state that it's a parody of radio hits and the music industry with a punk rock chorus. But after all that, it was their biggest hit in America.
Yeah, well, that's the irony, isn't it? It's the joke, the song that was supposed to stick it, but it was actually quite enjoyable for people, and it was a hit for the record label. I don't think it would have been a parody of grunge, because I can't see Damon Albarn thinking like, oh, Nirvana is shit, so we're going to parody that.
No,
like,
exactly.
It's very much a parody, not a parody, but very much in the same world as Smells Like Teen Spirit, you could say. Obviously nowhere near as impactful or good as that song, but I can't see them being that up their own arse to be like that. But I think it was a parody of the record label. And look, is that thing of who's someone else that did that as well? Like let's. Oh, David Bowie did it with the song from the Laughing Gnome. None of David Bowie's songs were getting made. So he made, I can't remember what song it is. He made a song by going, this is the kind of thing they want me to make, and it's shit. It's terrible. So I put it out there, and the label selected it, and it was a hit. I can't remember what song it was now. But it's that thing of you make the joke song that the label wants as kind of a look at how shit you are, and it ends up being a hit. So it's kind of like who wins, really, I guess. I guess you win the argument because that you proved your point, and you've made money off it, but so's the label. So. It's a bit like the Banksy thing we were talking about and Daft Punk in the pre-show chat, isn't it? With the who's really winning. But it's funny. But this is very much that, but obviously this wasn't a massive hit like song 2 was or anything like that. But it didn't get released for a start. They didn't actually release it as a single. It was just a video. So I think as well, people forget it was just a massive troll on the fans as well by dropping it and everyone going, "Oh my god, this is the follow-up to Humbug, like this song." And a lot of people were horrified, and is this what the album's going to be like? And then the album is the exact polar opposite of this song. It is an entirely love song, melodic, sort of Pixies-esque album with a couple of fast tracks on it, which is just a complete, like, none of the rest of the album actually sounds like Bric by Bric at all, even the fast ones. Yep. So very funny, boys. I think there's no problem with that. And what do you want? People moan if musicians are up their own arse, and people moan if they don't take it too seriously enough. So you can't really win.
It's very much the riot van of this album. Just like imagine they'd advertise the first album by like releasing a teaser thing of Riot Van and just sort of, and then people
the
listen
bad
to it
thing.
and go, none of it's
No, it's not
anything
actually.
like
No, 'cause the
that.
bad thing is shit. No, because bad thing is shit. To be fair, Riot Van's a better example because it is a good song.
Despite the bad thing being shit, it still has similarities with a lot of the other songs on there, like stylistically.
And I think there's nothing wrong with having a laugh in the album because they probably did get a bit too serious during Humbug, and they thought we need to let loose a bit and have a bit of a laugh. It's the same thing with the Shadow Puppets second album when Alex, the way he was during that tour, like he's not seriously doing that. He's having a laugh by being this maniac on stage, and the clothes he was wearing and stuff. Like he's not seriously that guy. But nothing wrong with a bit of fun, guys.
Oasis did Digsy's Dinner about like going around your friend's house and making lasagna, and that was on the first album. They'd not earned the right to have a laugh at that point.
Yeah. So yeah, what can you say? It's just a fun tune. But the rest of the lyrics, obviously, I want to steal your soul, brick by brick. I want to rock and roll, brick by brick. I want to rock and roll. I want to rock and roll. Again, this is where people not in on the joke cringe. I've seen this. Like people that aren't in on the joke cringe at that and go, "God, I want to rock and roll. That's awful." And people that are in on the joke laugh and go, "Yeah, they know it's awful when they sing I want to rock and roll," but they're just funny. Which I just think is the story of them as a band. Sometimes they take the piss and they're in on the joke, but people that aren't really think they're cringy and terrible and that they're up their own arse and stuff. And it's like, no, they're the opposite. Everything you think about them, they're the opposite of that, and you just don't get it. So yeah, nothing wrong with that, I think. But it is a cringy. I wanna rock and roll. Yeah, it is cringy. And then you just get I want a bit by brick. I want an episode. I want a bit by brick by brick by brick by brick. Brick by brick.
He does a little thing in the middle of it, doesn't he? When they played the Glastonbury 2013 version.
Yes.
He like
I like the way.
Like...
I like the way he sang part of it in the clip that you played. I can't remember what lyric it was, but he sang it a bit different than he does on in the single. I liked it. I like the way it rolled off his tongue. Nothing wrong with it, I think. There's just not much to talk about, obviously, because it has absolutely no meaning whatsoever. So, a Fabergé egg of a song.
it is kind of tempting. I think what we should do is play. In the edit, we'll just put the song in like 50 times. So the episode comes in at like 2.5 hours, and people are like, "What have they picked out of this one? There must be something really deep in these lyrics that they found."
Yeah, because as it stands now, this is going to be one of the shortest ones we've done recently because it's coming up. I think the subscriber stuff was like 50 minutes, so it's probably only going to be like just over an hour, isn't it? So
it's probably the shortest one since we didn't used to do all the lyrics, since we used to pick out the best bits.
Yeah,
early days. Which blows my mind that we did that.
Did we do that?
That's how we started. Yeah.
Oh,
we
because
used to go through the lyrics in order, but just pick out the best bits.
I think it was because the first album didn't seem like it had. It was just us pointing and going, "That's good, innit?" Like rather than any kind of discussion, we didn't want to just be like going, "Oh, that." It's like trying to do a podcast of a comedy show rather than a drama. Do you know what I mean? You can't just go, "That was funny, wasn't it?" for an hour. So, whereas you can dissect drama, so it's a bit like that. Yeah, we could. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, we couldn't. There wasn't really anything to say about it really, apart from tidbits. So but shall we hear what the boys have to say about it with John Kennedy?
Yes, let's do it.
Too much to discuss over a bucket of balls.
You're listening to Exposure on XFM. I'm John Kennedy, and that is Arctic Monkeys' Brick by Brick from the new album, Suck It and See. It has just come out this week, and Matt and Alex from the band are here talking us through it track by track. Brick by Brick was, I guess, our first taste of this new record, and it surprised quite a few people. I know you've mentioned Nick Cave in the past, and there's a kind of Bad Seeds type gang vocaling going on, a kind of Grinder Man thing, when they all seem to shout.
Yeah,
I really like that. And on the last Grinder Man album, I think they had that down really, really well.
Yeah.
But was that what you were aspiring to with when everybody's joining in, going brick by brick?
Yeah. I mean, it sort of, that was like first tune we came up with, and after, like I was saying before, when we finished touring this time last year, me and Matt went in the studio for a minute and did like a demo of that. That was like the only tune we had. And we sort of like, usually songs we write on tour aren't very good, but you kind of come up with odd riff here and there. But I don't know, this one I think it was like, we just came up with it one night, like this idea that you'd have Bric by Bric would be the title and the rest of it. So we just spent the next 3 weeks or whatever thinking of different things that you might do Bric by Bric. I saw this interview with Iggy Pop once talking about how when he was writing like like No Fun or whatever, and he'd try and keep it to less than 30 words because it reminded him of some TV show he used to watch as a kid where the host would ask the kids at home to write in, but the letter had to be less than 25 words or whatever, and he said that always stuck with him. So by repeating stuff like No Fun, he still only uses 2 words, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know, I thought it'd be funny to have a crack at trying to like do a song with less than 30 words in it, seeing as like usually ours have got about 400.
And you want to rock and roll a lot in Bric.
Well, Matt does 3 times.
3 times.
It's a triangle.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I've got a limit of 1 or maybe 2 at a push, like that's why he swings that
extra. Yeah.
That extra bit of rock and roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, that were a ray of light when we realised it should be 3 rock and roll. That were a eureka moment.
Excellent. And you mentioned Iggy Pop. I mean, looking at some of the interviews, you've been talking about raw power quite a lot.
Yeah, you sort of always come back to it. I think, yeah, it was something we'd all listen to when we were in a car together or something. Usually it's like that, or Sabbath, or Sword.
And so can I picture this car with all 4 heads in unison?
A little bit. I know also they're saying that depends whose car you're in.
Right.
I mean, even if that person's obviously driving, they're not in charge of what's...
No,
they're concentrating usually. But I think whose car you're in does make a difference. Like, in Jamie's car, we would usually listen to, like, Sword or something.
Right.
But in Matt's, we might, like, have a bit of Wu-Tang or something.
Right.
And in mine, I don't know, I got a stereo.
Just sing to us.
And Nick?
We don't get in his car.
No. Is he not safe?
No, he's yeah.
So the next song...
Me.
Too much to discuss over a bucket of balls.
It's great, that's one of my favourites.
Yeah, well, I think on the song that kind of just showcases them not taking it too seriously, and it was just a laugh because he says about it was a eureka moment when we realised there should be free rock and roll. It's like that's just pure dry sense of humour about them knowing that it's just a stupid song, and what's wrong with that? If they can acknowledge it, then who cares? But yeah, that's tracks as well. That you get something like Sabbath in Jamie's car, you get Wu-Tang in Helder's car, and Alex being a bit skirty about his, and an implication there that he's a shit driver as well in there, and that they don't get in nicks either. Don't get in there. But he kind of mumbles to himself, safer than me though. So yeah.
He mentions No Fun by Iggy and the Stooges as well, which famously has not many lyrics at all.
Yeah, they took a lot of inspiration, and nothing wrong with that. Can I have a shipping forecast, please?
Oh, you can.
Listen to the shipping forecast.
So I remember the video that I sent you ages ago from Instagram from Helder's wife, where they were talking. It just made me laugh because they're talking about they've just been watching The Bear, and Helder's is like, I could be a chef if I wanted to be, and he's like, I know everyone will be saying that because they watched The Bear, but I really think I've got the chops to be a chef. And I noticed as well they're listening to Let Down by Radiohead in the background, so it's very nice. Yeah, and they sound pissed as well. Like she's sort of slurring as she's talking, and he looks fucked as well. I think they're a proper party couple. I'd love to go in and out with the pair of them. I love that. Yeah. I reckon Helder's is the big boozer of the band. I reckon he's the party animal. Jamie's gone. Like he was drunk when he was younger, and now he's sort of settled down with the family and that. But I reckon Helder's is the party animal. Yeah,
it's always the drummer, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's always the drummer,
wild one
as well. So have to.
I reckon Alex does, but I reckon Alex is more of a sipping a sort of white wine or something over the course of a night, or even a sherry. I can imagine Alex having a sherry.
Doing that thing with a red cup, like in the American movies.
there's two types of people that drink sherry. There's 90-year-old women, and there's sort of artistic types that just want to sort of sip it and be be sort of pretentious a bit with it. They're the only two people that drink sherry.
Yeah, no one else.
Also, this week there was a lovely picture posted of Alex and Louise, wasn't there? A new
Very
picture
good.
of them
It was a
in
very
black
good
and
picture.
white. Alex's hair looked phenomenal as ever. He ever increasingly look. The older he gets, the young, like he still looks pretty young in that photo. I thought, God, he still looks, considering he's like our age, or a bit older than us. I think is he your age or is he a year older? I can't remember. But yeah, well, he was.
I think,
Yeah, a year older, so he's what, 38? Is he 39? God, he's not going to be 40 in January, is he? Jesus Christ. Oh my God, don't tell me that.
I think it might be.
We're going to have to do some kind of 40. Yeah, I hope so. That's terrifying if he's 40. But he looked superb. It was a lovely photo of the pair of them. Perhaps engaged, who knows? Not our business. But do you want to say your favourite lyric from this one?
Oh.
Too busy with the mind on clever lines.
Because it makes me chuckle to think of them chuckling with it, I'm gonna reconstruct bit by brick. I want to feel your love because I love the way Helder says it, and I just know Helder's is pissing himself when he did that. I could just feel it. I just want to feel your love, and them just knowing that's an awful like 80s sort of hair metal band or something like that.
Do you not want to? Do you not want to give a shout for?
That is probably my favourite bit, to be fair. I love as well. You know, I've always thought it's funny that Helder's the lead vocal, but Alex does the chorus because Helder's can't do that. Probably can't do that kind of brick by brick holding the note. He's more of a falsetto backing vocal man, isn't he?
Yes. All as a night.
Yeah, and well, AM obviously is the peak. Helder's backing vocal and Nick. But favorite musical moment? Probably more of one to go on.
Yeah, there's more to go.
Bad sound in your ear that make you get up and down.
The slowed down stoner rock breakdown solo.
I would agree. Yeah, that's amazing. Slow down stoner rock bit, absolutely. Best bit of the song. Perfect. I do have two hot takes.
Bloody hell.
She flicks a red hot revelation off the tip of her toe.
Here's the first one. If the lyrics were different and they were like up to Alex's usual standard of lyrics, would this song be perceived as being a better song?
Oh yeah.
If he'd have done like proper lyrics to it. Because the music is no different to Don't Sit Down, but because Don't Sit Down is a comedy one, but perhaps on a higher level because they're not just doing shit lyrics as a pastiche. I think it would be if this was like lyrics where he was singing something else to it that had more like substance. I think people would think this was a really great song. I think it really just gets attention because the lyrics are stupid. I think that's the only reason it gets grief because there's nothing wrong with the music. Nothing wrong with the music. You could say it's a bit stonery rock lame, some people might say, but I just don't think it is. I think it's just fun. I think it's just a fun song. I think the lyrics are really what people's main chagrin with it is. But yeah, I think you get some classic Alex lyrics in there instead, and people love it. It's a hit. It's one of the big songs, stays in the set and stuff. Second point is there's a category of songs. I would say there's the hits. There's the fan favorites, there's the great songs, but there's like a section of other songs. Is this the best of the rest? I would say this falls into a category of songs like 2013,
Sticking to the Floor,
Death Ramps, Any Instrumental, Matador, Sticking to the Floor, possibly Seven. Sort of falls into that world, I think. Possibly Electricity as well. Is this the best of the rest?
Oh, I think so. As much as I have a soft spot for some of those ones you've mentioned, I think if I had to pick one of them to listen to at any given time, I think this would be the one.
I mean, the 2013 episode is going to be amazing because it's going to be me trying to defend it for an hour. So, you're not even going to be as passionate about that. So it's going to be me just trying to defend that one.
We'll see when we get back onto it.
Well,
Anything could happen.
Shall we have the introduction to next week's song?
Yes, this is a point of the show where Dan has collaborated with artificial intelligence to help.
I like that. Collaborated. I like that. I've collaborated with artificial intelligence.
Collaborated with artificial. Yeah.
Stop. Collaborate and listen
to this
Dan's
intro
got his
that we bookend with this jingle.
Push the button and we'll do the rest.
Can I say, I always have an instinct to think that Don't Sit Down is the next song on this album, and then I have to remind myself that Hellcat is. It feels like Brick by Brick, Don't Sit Down, Hellcat, because it's kind of just wedged in the middle of them. But maybe they thought it was too much to have Don't Sit Down and two sort of comedy rock songs together. So they need a breakwater of a 5-star melodic song.
Use the Hellcat as a breakwater.
Yeah. Hellcat Spangled Shalalala. My instinct is always to say shalala, but it is shalalala. Hellcat Spangled Shalalala by Arctic Monkeys feels like a love letter wrapped in playful chaos, where every moment with her is an unpredictable adventure. It's the kind of song that captures the magic of someone who can turn even the most complicated situations into something exciting and electric. She flicks out a red-hot revelation that lights up the room and leaves you buzzing with energy, like she's got the power to supercharge your world with just a few words. The lyrics play with this sense of wonder and enchantment. Imagine her glowing in the dark, like a home that's both sweet and dangerous, a place where comfort meets excitement. The repeated shalala feels like a light-hearted anthem, like the chorus of a perfect, carefree summer day. It's playful, fun, and a little bit magical, just like the feeling of being around someone who turns the ordinary into something extraordinary. Oh, that's nice, isn't it?
Very nice.
Yeah, that's very nice.
As if I wasn't excited enough for that song already.
I know, yeah. I was all in my head at first set, like, oh, Don't Sit Down next week, another sort of have a laugh with, and then I was like, no, we get to really get into one of the an early, like, we've had two really good ones, but I think Hellcat is in the another tier. I think there's 3 tiers to this. You get the sort of rocky songs, the middle melodic songs like She's Thunderstorms, Black Treacle, and then you get the top tier ones, and I think Hellcat does move into one of them.
We're in there. Yeah,
the lyrics are very interesting. The lyrics section will not be as short as this week. Next week, I can tell you that. So this will be another sort of, because this week I think the episode is probably going to be about an hour 10, an hour 15, whereas next week I think we'll be back up to the sort of 2 hours.
Oh, we will, baby. We will. And I also get to break out my new jingle that I've created for little British phrases that still pop up in there, little British / Northern phrases that pop up to show that they've not lost touch with their roots. So I'm excited for that.
Lovely stuff.
Lovely. Right, we will see you next week. Same time, same place. Don't forget to go on the episode description and like and do all that stuff and follow us everywhere. It's much appreciated. And check out the subscriber stuff if you so wish. Say goodbye to the nice people, Dan.
Goodbye.
Yeah, done, yeah?
Yeah, done, yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to feel your love.
Oh, well, save it for later. Save it for the subscriber stuff.
As I mentioned before, folks, we are the Arctic Monkeys. My name is Alex. And I'd like to introduce to you the rest of the band over the course of the evening. But I'd like to start with this young man over there on the drum kit, everybody. His name is Matthew J. Elders III in Glastonbury. If you like him, why don't you tell him you like him? Now you want to think yourselves very lucky, because not only is he going to play the drums on this next number, he's going to sing it for you as well, folks. It's called Brick by Brick, and it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to build you up. Brick by brick. I want to break you down. Brick by brick. I'm going to reconstruct. Brick by brick. I want to feel your love. Brick by brick. Brick by brick.
blind. Brick by brick.
Don't Believe the Hype is hosted and produced weekly by Nick Lee and Dan Holt. The music used in the titles is royalty-free music courtesy of Les FM. Don't forget to subscribe on your podcast player of choice to be notified every Wednesday when a new episode is released. And if you want to help us out further, be sure to like and review to help make us more visible to like-minded souls. We will see you next week with more of the same.